a bird. It's a plane. It's
Huh?
Nate Richard. That doesn't have the right ring to it, actually.
What are you doing?
Well, you see, Nate, I've been trying to find a superhero name for you, dude.
Oh, really? What's yours?
Ultra Marcos.
Oh, boy.
Hello, and welcome back to The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news show. I'm your host, Marcos Carranza.
And I'm Nate Richard.
No. Say your superhero name.
Super Nate?
I love it. It's genius.
Okay, if we're superheroes, then what are our powers?
Well, I've always thought it would be cool to just sling infinite pizzas from my mouth.
That's a weird superpower.
Oh, really? Then what's yours, Nate?
I've always wanted to summon Baja Blast from my hands at will.
Actually, that you're right. That is much better.
I know. While we master our superpowers, let's hear from our super host, Andre. Take it away.
Thanks, Super Nate. I recently got the chance to watch one of the top stream shows on the US Netflix right now, Enola Holmes, right under Ratched and right after Real Steel, which is the number 3 for whatever reason, and I have no idea why people still shared my love for Bionicles. But back to the matter at hand. We are all familiar with the countless and successful renditions of Sherlock Holmes, Watson, Mycroft, Lestrade, and so on. As you can guess by the title, this film instead focuses on Sherlock and Mycroft's younger sister, Enola. This is a film based on Nancy Springer's award-winning novels about Enola Holmes' adventures, and the screenplay was also written by Springer herself. The big question being that this film's success poses is, does Enola Holmes deserve a series? In the film, Enola Holmes, played by Millie Bobby Brown, is a teenage girl raised solely by her mother, Eudora, on everything from literature, history, science, math, and combat, in order to grow up as a woman who can fend for herself in the world. However, her time with her mother is cut short when Eudora mysteriously disappears on Enola's 16th birthday. When Mycroft takes Enola in as her ward, Enola escapes in order to find her mother and escape being imprisoned in a conservative ladies' school where Enola would be forced to unlearn everything she was taught and grown up on by her mother. Throughout the journey, Enola gets involved in a bigger scandal happening in England at the time over a voter expansion bill, which in this film is a nod to the suffrage movement, which explains Eudora's absence in the film. The film itself, though, heavily relies on Millie Bobby Brown's performance of Enola. The Stranger Things star more than showed that she was able to succeed in any genre and have more than enough range to carry the attention of an audience. The star-studded cast might have also helped. The 2 other performances that stand out was Helena Carter's crackhead badass mom, and maybe also Henry Cavill's very Henry Cavill-esque Sherlock Holmes. However, despite Bobby Brown's great performance, the narrative feels more like a watered-down version of the BBC Holmes series, but with a female lead and fourth wall breaks very similar to that of Dora the Explorer, for whatever reason. In short, I thought this was a fun and quirky film that creates great and true independent female leads that aren't hampered down by male counterparts as usual. I will say, though, for a piece that is overtly feminist, I think it's a little ironic that the director is a man. But regardless, final verdict. As a standalone film, fun, charming, definitely worth the watch. But probably not as a whole series. All right, well, this has been your super host, Andre Guima. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Andre, for that super segment.
Wait a minute. We skipped something very important. Who is the sidekick?
We can do nose goes.
Dang it! I'm the sidekick.
No. Don't be sad, Nate. The sidekicks always have the best puns.
That's true. One of my personal favorites is wholly contributing to the delinquency of minors.
What? Nate, that's not a pun.
Look it up, peasant. I mean, Ultra Marcos.
You better be careful, Nate, or you'll get pizza right in your face.
Actually, I am kind of hungry.
Okay, so if I'm a superhero and you're my super sidekick, then who's going to be our evil nemesis?
Parker
Walfred?
Carlson.
Duh, Dark Lord Parkerson.
Is that what you're going with?
What, you don't think it's cool?
It's perfect. He can summon the cast of Top Gear to protect him as his best mates.
Now that's perfect, but it's really just a marketing ploy to get us to invest in Parker Plus Prime Premium.
That's so like Parker. But you know, he's got some competition with Netflix.
Ah, Nate, you're jumping on the bandwagon too, I see.
But I heard from Tierra that HBO Max is getting in on the superhero action. Take it away, Tierra.
It's been about 3 years since 2017's Justice League was released, and if you've been following The Real Deal, you know my opinion on it. It was a bit of a flop, but I tolerated it because I liked the cast. But I moved on. I liked Aquaman, I still haven't seen Shazam, but either way, I've sort of moved on from Justice League, and I was excited to see where the future of the DCEU would go. However, it seems other people just can't. The Snyder Cut purists especially, but it seems like they're getting what they want. After crying for the Snyder Cut for almost 3 years, we are getting it on HBO Max. It's scheduled to be released in 2021, and it's supposed to be 4 hours long. They're even doing reshoots, which have reportedly cost $70 million. Henry Cavill is supposedly not a part of these reshoots, but Gal Gadot and Ben Affleck seemingly are. The original Justice League film was a behind-the-scenes nightmare. From Henry Cavill's mustache having to be edited out poorly, to Warner Brothers execs refusing to delay the film so they can get their Christmas bonus, to the 2-hour mandate, and most notably Joss Whedon replacing Zack Snyder after the tragic death of his daughter. A lot of criticisms of the film have to do with Whedon's handling of the tone, characters, and his added jokes, but more recently, Cyborg actor Ray Fisher has spoken out against the toxic environment on set. In a tweet released in July, Fisher says, Joss Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. He was enabled in many ways by Jeff Johns and John Berg. Accountability is greater than entertainment. He even tweeted a clip of him praising Joss Whedon at Comic-Con and said, I'd like to take a moment to forcefully retract every bit of the statement. Co-star Jason Momoa so far has been the only member of the cast to say anything in support of Ray Fisher, posting on Instagram, this has to stop and needs to be looked at. Ray Fisher and everyone else who experienced what happened under the watch of Warner Brothers needs proper investigation. He goes on to say that serious stuff went down. There was also a report that Jason Momoa was supposedly playing Frosty the Snowman, which Jason says was fake to distract from Ray Fisher's message. Fisher even says, if you still think Jason playing Frosty was ever real, please wake up. He writes, to think they believe my brother would sell out the cast crew of Justice League for a corncob pipe and a button nose, ... which is just a good line. All of this, 3 years later, has opened up a new can of worms on the Justice League film. I think it's great that Ray Fisher has taken this opportunity to speak up about the injustice that went down on set. I'm even happier that Jason Momoa backed up his friend during this when it seems other members of the cast won't. Maybe they're waiting for something, who knows, what the next year or so leading up to the release of the Snyder Cut will bring. After the original Justice League film was mandated to be exactly 2 hours, we're getting 2 extra hours of a film that probably still won't be very good. I think Joss Whedon's version of Justice League was just so bad that it blinded everyone into thinking Zack Snyder's version would be any better. It might be more aesthetic, but it truthfully might not be much better. Even though people say the director's cut of Batman v Superman is better than the theatrical cut. But again, I've moved on. Most people have moved on. And I guess we'll finally be able to see if the Snyder Cut will actually be any better, and we'll see if anything will be done about Ray Fisher's accusations about their on-set treatment. But only time will tell. That's all for me this week. I'm Tiara Spells.
Thanks, Tiara, for theming our episode this week.
So that's where this came from.
You know what? It's like our super secret identities that we've just now shared with the whole world.
Yeah, I guess we didn't really think that through, huh?
Well, I guess we're going into early retirement.
I never even got to use the power of Baja Blast to blast off into space.
Or defeat Dark Lord Parkerson. But you know what? It's not about the powers, Nate. It's about the friends that you make along the way.
Aw, shucks.
Come on, Sidekick Super Nate, let's fly into our final word.
I've been eager to talk about Cobra Kai ever since I first watched it when it premiered on YouTube Red back in the summer of 2018. And when Season 2 debuted in the summer of 2019, I really wanted to talk about it. And now that Netflix has acquired the series from YouTube and the show has become a big hit, I have now found the appropriate time to talk about it on here. Also, now I don't have to create new YouTube accounts to get a free month of YouTube Premium, so that's a plus too. Cobra Kai is a sequel series to the classic 80s franchise The Karate Kid and features the return of Ralph Macchio and William Zabka as karate rivals Daniel LaRusso and Johnny Lawrence as they train the new generation of karate kids. After losing to Daniel in the first Karate Kid, Johnny's life has gone downhill in his adulthood. He's an alcoholic handyman who spends his day downing Coors banquets and driving around in his 1991 Pontiac Firebird. Daniel, on the other hand, lives a life of luxury as a local celebrity. He has a wife and 2 kids, lives in a big house, and is the owner of a successful car dealership. When Johnny starts training his bully teenage neighbor Miguel, he decides to reopen the Cobra Kai Karate Dojo, which reignites his rivalry with Daniel. It's the tone that Cobra Kai creates that really makes it work as well as it does. Showrunners John Horich, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Heald, who are the men behind various R-rated comedy franchises from the likes of Harold and Kumar, American Reunion, and Hot Tub Time Machine, give the series the same cheesy 80s tone that the first 3 Karate Kid movies had, while never overdoing the cheese factor or overbanking on nostalgia. Another thing I appreciate is how the series deconstructs the character of Johnny. While in the original movie he was the classic 80s movie bully, here we really are able to sympathize with him and root for him. Honestly, he's the more likable character compared to Daniel. As much as I love the original 1984 Karate Kid, I honestly prefer Cobra Kai, and I honestly think it's one of the better revivals out there. It's honestly right up there with what Creed did for the Rocky franchise. I had no expectations for Cobra Kai when it first debuted 2 years ago, but it ended up becoming one of my favorite shows. It's extremely watchable and is definitely worth the binge watch. Definitely check out the first 2 seasons now on Netflix before Season 3 debuts next year. I'm Nate Richard, and that has been my final word.
So far, a lot has happened this year, from wildfires to pandemics to murder hornets and social unrest over injustices. So it came to no surprise to me when I heard that there was one man trying his very best to make a difference, to save us all, if even for a few moments. And who else but the man himself, Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel recently released music. Yeah, I didn't know he could do that either. Despite being one of the highest grossing actors in the world, Vin takes time out of his busy schedule to shine some love on the world. And let me tell you that this song is not at all what I would have expected from him. The track is very much like a pop/EDM anthem. And while I only know what he is saying because the title of the track is Feel Like I Do, and he repeats it constantly, I can't help to be drawn to it. Structurally, this song is almost like comically bad. However, it just sticks in your head. It has this very funky beat that just finds a way to stick to you. While the song is playing, I just imagine myself in a scenario. I see myself at concerts again. I'm on cloud 9. Then I look over. A large, bald man in a tank top smiles at me, and he just says, "Family," and then he vanishes. Although I have a love-hate opinion on this song, I can't help but admit that it legitimately lifts my spirits a bit. While I'm sure the lyrics are about something, the song doesn't really need anything aside from the hook. I would go as far as to say that this song is perhaps the last banger of this summer. Who would have thought that Vin Diesel, of all people in the world, could bring me this much joy? Huh, not me. And I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised that this song, which began as a meme in my friend group, has evolved to be in my rotation lately. So if you're ever feeling down lately, I might just tell you to give this song a try. If for nothing else, it'll make you laugh. This has been my final word, but if you see me dancing around with my headphones in, you already know that I just feel like I do.
See, this is why you're the superhero, Marcos, because you just saved me and our lovely citizens out there from boredom. And speaking of citizenship, if you live anywhere in the United States, please make sure you're registered to vote and check in with your friends and family to make sure they're registered too.
But if you want more from us here at The Real Deal, You can check out our Facebook, Twitter, and website for all things entertainment. I'm your host, Marcos Carranza.
And I'm Nate Richard. See you next time on The Real Deal.